So listen, we need to get really, 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 really practical for a second. You have had almost a year of this nonsense lockdowns, politicians preventing average people from working. And I really hope you've used your time well. I hope you've used your time to try to diversify your income, set up a side hustle, do whatever you need to do in order to make sure that you can provide for yourself and for your family. Because the reality is this, we know that Joe Biden wants at least 3 months of lockdowns. We know that Joe Biden has come out and said that he thinks maybe if we're lucky, we can get back to normal around next Christmas. And now we are in a situation where businesses are retaliating against anyone that supported Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. And here is the reality, folks. And I've tried to explain this to you guys numerous times, and there are some of you that you just don't want to hear it. Most organizations, the vast majority of organizations, can fire anyone at any time for any reason or for no reason at all. And if they choose to fire you, it is near impossible for you to sue them because they do not need to give you a reason. And no, your politics are not a protected class. Even if you could prove that they fired you because you voted for Trump or you wore a MAGA hat out one time or you just happened to be in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, even if you could prove that emphatically, which is near impossible to do, it doesn't matter because it is not a protected class. And the reason I bring that up is because of this story right here that I saw on Twitter today from Dawson Buchanan. And it started off with him retweeting someone, Mark, saying, "A very talented friend of mine who interned with the GOP leader and at 20 was one of the highest ranked staffers in the Trump campaign was just fired from his new job when the client found out he worked for Trump. He now can't afford rent. Still think cancel culture isn't serious. This is not messing around, folks. This is happening to real people. And if you think it can't happen to you, I'm sorry, but it can. They can fire you for any reason or for no reason at all. That is what employment at will means." Let's read Dawson's story. "A few hours ago, I tweeted out that this tweet referred to me. Shortly after, I deleted that tweet. After much introspection and talking with friends and family, I feel obligated to reveal why I deleted it. After identifying myself as the subject of the thread, FlyPJS, Private Jet Services, I don't know what this company is, but FlyPJS reached out to me, threatening to take legal action and publicly defame me if I didn't delete the tweet. Intimidated and nervous, I immediately deleted it. But after thinking about it and discussing my rights of free speech with advisors, I will not be bullied into silence. I'm now going to raise my voice louder. In early January, PJS hired me to be a concierge for a contract they had with the NHL team Cans. I don't know, it's the Carolina Hurricanes. Okay. Having worked with PJS as an operations associate for the Trump campaign, I eagerly accepted the position, excited to join a company I had developed a personal relationship with. After receiving a laptop and establishing a work email and even purchasing additional work clothes, I prepared to travel to Raleigh, North Carolina today for training. Yesterday evening around 7 p.m., PJS called and fired me without explanation, because they don't have to give you an explanation. They can fire you for any reason or for no reason at all. They do not need to give you an explanation. I was devastated. I had gone from being employed to unemployed in a matter of seconds, and I hadn't done anything wrong. You don't need to do anything wrong. They can fire you at any time for any reason or for no reason at all. I called the owner of PJS and asked for an explanation, and he told me very bluntly, the NHL found out I had worked for the Trump campaign and threatened to cancel the contract unless PJS fired me. Instead of standing up for me and explaining to the NHL that I, as a person, am not solely defined by my previous work on the Trump campaign, they fired me for their own company's financial gain. I was upset and disappointed, but I didn't initially blame them for this decision. I wish they had stood up for me. They didn't. I didn't have any animosity towards PJS until they tried to bully me into silence. And folks, if you think this is an isolated incident, I have seen organizations do this over and over and over and over and over again. I've had this done to me. I've had this done to my clients. I have seen organizations pull this crap with former employees. This is not an isolated incident. And now, given where we are in the world, given what is going on, I'm going to provide more proof that organizations are completely willing to turn their backs on Republicans and Trump supporters, whatever you want to call it. This is where we are in the world. You have got to take care of yourself. You've got to make sure you have a backup, and do not trust your employer. So now I'm sharing my story in its entirety. Even though the owner told me this afternoon that he would deny everything I say if this went any further, but this is the truth, and I feel more empowered and supported if I share it with all of you. I can't begin to thank all the people who helped me through this and have reached out on Twitter, LinkedIn, and by email to help. Thank you all so much. I look forward to continuing to voice the truth so that this never happens to a conservative again. Well, Dawson is in for a rude awakening because this is going to happen to more conservatives. This is 100% going to happen to more conservatives. And that is why it is so important for you to take care of yourself, to diversify how you're making money. Guys, there are a million different ways to make money in the world. There really are. I have at least 5 different ways I'm producing revenue right now for specifically this purpose, because if one thing gets canceled, then another thing will take its place, and then I'll be able to back it up and create another thing. You always have to be looking for the opportunities you have to make money, to provide for yourself and your family. And this is not about greed. This is not about like rolling in the dough. That's not what it is. It is about providing yourself with security that no one can take away from you. And they're going to try. They're going to try. Now, I introduced you the other day to Judd Legum here, who is an activist who claims to be a journalist, but really he's an activist that is convincing companies to withdraw their financial support from Republican candidates, specifically targeting those who were following a completely constitutional legal process. They were absolutely entitled to do it, to object to the Electoral College vote. Any company, and you should go to his Twitter profile and see which ones, because there are an awful lot of companies who are bending the knee to what these little activists want. If you think that it won't come back to bite you if you work for one of these companies, then you have got another thing coming. And I'm just going to give you just a sampling of the companies that he has gotten to bend the knee in the last day. Capital One is not safe for conservatives. Holland Hart, not safe for conservatives. Smithfield Foods, Edison Electric, RIAA, not safe for conservatives. Morgan Stanley, not safe for conservatives. Cisco, not safe for conservatives. Walmart, not safe for conservatives. And there are a whole lot more. Hallmark, Marriott, the list goes on and on and on and on of the companies that he has gotten to bend the knee to the outrage mob. This is not a drill, folks. If they'll bend the knee to the mob in terms of where they're putting their money, don't think for 1 second that if push comes to shove, they won't fire you for your political beliefs. It is a lot harder to get someone to do this, to bend the knee publicly, to say we will not donate to things that we have traditionally donated to. It is a lot harder to get them to do this publicly than it is for them to, in the dead of night, where it's not being reported anywhere, fire an average person. So here is my plea to you. Take care of yourself. If you work for a company that's doing this, start putting resumes out there. Get your resume updated. Make sure that you have options, and make sure you are not patronizing any of these companies if you can possibly help it. This is about protecting yourself. It's about protecting your family. I know people think I'm alarmist in this regard, but listen, I promise you, if it comes to the point of push or shove where you actually end up having a problem with your employer, you are going to be so thankful that you had that resume. You're going to be so thankful that you already started putting it out in other places to try to apply for jobs. You're going to be so thankful that you had backup income to support you. You are going to be so grateful that all those things existed, but you have to do the work now. I'm not messing around. And, the one maybe a blessing from the Joe Biden presidency is that it sounds like we're going to get more stimulus money. I mean, I don't know they seem far more concerned about impeachment right now than they do about the $2,000 checks that were the most important thing a week ago. So it sounds like you might have some extra time and some extra padding Do the right thing, do the smart thing, and use the time you have and the bandwidth you have to create your own businesses that maybe it doesn't support you right away, but it can over the course of time if you keep working at it. All right, guys. That's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications, all that good stuff. Hey man, this YouTube channel is part of one of my sources of income, so I do appreciate you sitting through the ads and all that. I also have my locals, which is the only community that I do not believe is actually going to start censoring people at this point. I feel completely comfortable on my locals, which is another source of my income. Now, if you would like to join my locals, you can actually do it for free. You don't have to pay to join if you don't want to. You can do it for free. You can get all of my videos ad-free. The information is right below me, right down there. And then if you want to sign up to become a supporter, you can use the promo code free speech, all one word, no space, free speech, by the end of January, and that'll give you a free month of supporter status so you can unlock all the features in the locals just to try it out to see if you like it. But those are two of the things that I'm doing. I also have a whole bunch of other stuff going on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about because I can't talk about it publicly, otherwise I might get canceled. But I'm taking care of myself. I'm making sure that I'm going to be okay no matter what, and I just strongly encourage you to do the same. That's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.